Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Old Gold and Black for episode 11 of Show Us Your Kit. Today, I'm joined by the other half of Talking Wolves. I've got Matt Cooper. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm good. He's at the better half talking Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Whilst you've got me on here, I bet if Dave asked that question, he'd be like, oh no.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No.
He's not that vain. He doesn't need the
He's not
need the
cheeky
pat on the
enough,
shoulder.
mate.
No.
He's not cheeky
No.
enough.
But just tell everybody
need that
before we
accreditation.
start where people can find you and what you do.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, mcooperwrites. And I am the co-founder, co-creator of Talking Wolves, with, like you just previously mentioned, Dave as a party. And yeah, we've been going for about two and a bit years now. One of the leading. I won't say the leading because obviously I'm on the old gold and black, Tom.
I was just the first. I'm not leading. I'm trailing now.
You're one of the leading, obviously, sport Wolves channels. But yeah, been really good fun. But that's what I do in my spare time, and in full-time working marketing. So nothing really kind of impressive or exciting.
Yeah, and the reason he's wearing a cap is because when he came onto this chat, I said that he looked like Chesney from Coronation Street. So
I tried to dye my hair platinum, and I'm already blonde anyway. And I thought, you know what, whilst we're off, I'll give it a go because I always toy with the idea because I'm an idiot, and it's just gone a bit kind of blonder and yellower. Yeah. It's getting there. I'm gonna have to keep putting a bit of toner on, but it's yeah, it looks a bit daft. So I've got a bit of banter from Tom, so I'll be cat back on.
Yeah, very, very sorry. Right, but as we start the show, you are a Wolves fan, of course. So just tell everybody your first memories of the Wolves, or if it's because I know that you live in West Bromwich. Has it been any trouble in your childhood growing up in West Bromwich?
Yeah, loads to be fair. Mostly because my dad likes to bite back at all the Albion fans in the area. I remember when Wolves went down and Albion went up, someone from the next street came and mooned in front of our front window. That was one of my early memories as a child. I know, ridiculous. But my local is full of West Brom memorabilia, and the Wolves fans are slowly taking over, and they're coming out of the woodwork. There's more Wolves fans in there this season than there has been since I've been drinking there, which probably from the age of about 14. But my earliest memories of Wolves, my dad was a hardened home and away season ticket holder. I only got a home season ticket now, but for as long as I can remember, I've always been Wolves. I was put under a wondrous scarf, as the song may suggest, ever since I was born. My mum's a West Brom fan, big West Brom fan. My dad's a Wolves fan, so it was either the Albion or Wolves, and I haven't thanked my dad for choosing Wolves until the past 2 or 3 years. In my lifetime, Albion have always really been better than Wolves, but I can never remember my first home game. I would have only been a nipper. My dad took me as soon as he could, really, to try and get it in the blood. I remember my first away game was Coventry City at the Ricoh Arena, and Wolves lost that day. But I remember just the chants and the atmosphere, and it was a cold Tuesday night, I think. Can they do it in a cold Tuesday night in Coventry? Well, the answer was no. But I could not. I loved it. Just the chanting. I remember saying, fight, wherever we are, the voice in the black country. And even at such a young age, that tribalism, I was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. It was a bit of an addiction. I was like, Dad, when we go into the next away games? Mum was like, yeah, you going again? You come back swearing? But yeah, I've always been Wolves and always hated the Albion, and I still do. And I'm proud to say that I won't hold back. When you live in West Brom all your life, you've had some stick.
Yeah. So what was it like then growing up with your mum? What were those derby days like?
We're on the front page of the Express and Star. The whole family, well, my brother, my dad, and my mum and the dog at the time. So I was the mascot from when Wolves played Albion in the FA Cup and they had the South Bank.
Yes.
I was the mascot that game, and I don't know how it came about, but I ran a story about Mum being Albion, and the rest of us being Wolves. We were literally on the front page, Express and Star, showing an Albion top, me and that Wolves top. And I think over the years, my mum has warmed to Wolves. She comes to the games with us sometimes. She always wants Wolves to win, more in the interest of her, because I'm in such a mood if Wolves lose, same as my dad. She goes to the Wolves now more than the Albion, but
Mm.
Derby days are always a tough one, and if Wolves, on the off chance, had won a derby against the Albion, I'd be rubbing it in her face. But if
Yeah.
the Albion more than likely beaten Wolves, she'd just be quiet and just very smug, and
Mm.
it's
I
one
can't.
of them. But
I can't imagine that the last time we played that 5-1 game. What she must have been dying to tease you, surely.
yeah, I think so. But I think she saw just the pure anger and just emotion on my
Yeah.
face. I mean, I wouldn't have been very. I may have been 16 or something at the time, around about that age.
Mm.
Um, so probably put it just down to the angst of youth. But she's very respectful with it. And she always wants Wolves to win. And when we do watch Wolves at home, she's chanting and screaming. But that's just a character. She does that when England play. She does it when the
Yeah.
Albion play. You know, she does it when
Yeah.
Robbie Keane was playing because she loved him. She likes Everton as well. She's a bit of a plastic, really.
Right then, moving on then to the first part of the show. Then you're going to share with us your favourite Wolves kit. Now, unfortunately, you haven't got any kits with you, but
Yeah,
we've got
I don't.
some.
I'm a bit of a weird body shape. I find that kits, they're either really tight on my shoulders or just really baggy. And I think I don't want to look like a typical Yadar. I want something that fits fairly nicely, and they just don't. I really wish that they did fit, or
Yeah.
they changed the fitting, because some of the kits these days, I mean, the away kit this season for Wolves and the green kit, I think are superb. I really like them, but
Mm.
there's no point me buying them because they don't fit. But I think my favourite Wolves kit over, especially in my lifetime, 'cause I don't remember the kits from the start, is this kit here on screen. I think that's the 0708 blue and orange kit, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Screams
If if,
Jackie
mem-
McNamara.
if memory serves me correctly, I had Keogh on the back. I used to
Right.
love Andy Keogh.
Mm.
I don't know. I've always liked blue or dark blues and purples on a kit, which to me screams I should have supported the Albion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just absolutely love this kit, and I used to wear it. I used to wear it as much as I can, and just the colours and the contrast of it. Again, I adored, and I played mum and dad up for ages to try and get that, and I think I may have got it for Christmas. But
It's
it's
not
what
gone.
it's a wonderful kit. I wish they'd issue something similar now. I mean, the manufacturer, Lecoq Sportif, I don't know if they're still going, but
Mm.
I don't think Adidas would ever kind of put something forward like that. But yeah, I really liked it. Not just the colours, but also the design of it. I love the strip down the side there. It's lovely.
Mm. Yeah, the only problem with Lecoq Sportif shirts that I found is that they really hold on to a smell.
I think that's any football shirt, mate. It's like
Well, I
football
don't.
bibs, isn't it?
No, yeah, well, I don't know, but Lecoq
It might just
Sportif
be
in
you.
particular, it might just be me. Yeah, but they, whatever, like the Sporting Bet ones, and the year after that, I think was Lecoq Sportif as well.
Birder as well. That was
Oh, it was Birdie, yeah,
the
sorry, but
same. Yeah.
they just honked. You play football in it once, then you'd never get that smell out. I mean, even now, I do my washing, you know what I mean. But yeah, this is not a kit that I've ever owned. I don't think. Unless I think I might have owned a long sleeve version of it for some reason. I've never ever bought a long sleeve shirt since, and I don't know why I did on that occasion, but still, a lovely kit with some lovely memories for it. I don't think I even
Yeah,
saw
I
Wolves playing
do.
that kit either.
Do really like that, and I did have quite a few kits from when I was younger, because I think when you're younger,
Yeah,
I was a bit more like I have to get the kit. I think the
yeah.
last kit that I bought, that I wore, was the season that we stopped up in the Premier League
Mm,
and Stephen Hunt scored.
yeah.
Was
Oh, with
Sporting
the
Bet
big
on the
collar.
front? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it must have been. So that's how many years
yeah,
ago. It's the last kit I bought. But that's amazing. If someone's got that in like
yeah.
an extra large or something, then please let me
Well, I've
know.
got it in
'Cause
a
I'd
large.
love
I've
to.
got it in a large, but it's got Rouse on the back, so I don't think you want to.
No, don't. Especially not that name, though.
But you were a goalkeeper growing up, weren't you? So, did you ever have goalkeeper kits of the Wolves when you were growing up?
Yes, I had. I don't know if you remember, but the green Doritos kit may
Yeah,
have been when we were in the Prem.
yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
When I was growing up, my idol as a goalkeeper was Matt Murray. I was just fascinated by him, just the way he commanded his area, his presence, just the sheer size of the bloke. When obviously I was small growing up, and I was always been a big lad. I was like, I want to be like Matt Murray. Also, a little tip of my cap to Carlo Cudicini as well. I used to love Cudicini just for his
No way.
dynamism and athleticism. But growing up, Matt
Mm.
Murray was the one for me, and I do remember having that green goalkeeper kit, like full kit, shorts,
Mm.
socks, proper full kit wanker, even from a young age. Yeah, but again, I wouldn't. I would never buy a goalkeeper kit now or anything.
Mm.
It'd be a home shirt or away shirt. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just think it's a bit of a waste of money unless it's something like, wow, that just
Yeah.
screams me. I'd wear that on a night out. Just would happen.
A Hawaiian goalkeeper shirt. That'd be nice,
Yeah,
wouldn't
if it was like if it had buttons up, maybe.
it? Yeah. And your non-Wolves kit as a very stylish number from 2002. So an Arsenal kit. I think the first Arsenal kit to appear on the podcast. Talk us through this one then, Matt.
I think growing up, uh, when you're at a young age, you don't really understand the loyalties that come with football. I always took a liking to Arsenal, especially like the Invincibles and Chelsea, purely down to, remember the game Club Manager?
Yeah. Yeah.
I brought the Chelsea version as that when my mum and dad bought it, and because I had so much dollar in the bank, it was great because you could just buy who you wanted and when you wanted. So Chelsea were a team that I did look at and follow, not as much as Wolves obviously growing up, but this Arsenal kit, it was actually bought for me because at the time I loved watching Omri and the player that sticks out for me wearing that is Sylvain Wiltord.
I was going to say the same. I was going to say exactly the same. Yeah, Wiltord. He was class
Sylvain
as well. You
Wiltord.
don't realise how good a player Wiltord was until you go back and look at some of the clips. And his
I think he
record
was
for Arsenal is
overshadowed by
outstanding.
your Pires, your Omris, your Bergkamps and stuff. But I absolutely loved this kit. And at the time, Arsenal were one of the best teams in Europe. The Invincibles, albeit they drew a lot of games. But they were just a pleasure to watch. I remember having the Arsenal top trumps as well. And I remember sitting in the living room with my dad, and I put like a team out. We had like a 4-4-2 classic Brexit football with all these Arsenal players from the top trumps, and I'd picked all the youngest players. And I said to my dad, "What do you think of that team?" He went, "They're all too young." And I went, "Yeah, but they're gonna be quicker. They're gonna be stronger than the older players. They're not as old." And my dad was like, "You need experience in the side, son." And from then I was like, "Right, you can was it Souness who said you can't win anything with kids?"
Hansen,
that's my dad.
Alan Hansen.
Alan Hansen, that was it. So, but yeah, this kit was something growing up watching the Arsenal and admiring how they played, because they did play some great football under Wenger. I think he kind of spearheaded that, especially coming over. Was it from Monaco that he came?
Well, I think he came from Japan. He had managed in Monaco before, but then he came directly from Japan because Ferguson was saying, "What does he know?" Coming from wherever it was in Japan, he doesn't know English football, and then he took it by storm very, very quickly. And he's like the godfather of modern British football and therefore European football, because the nutrition he changed, the attitude towards the games and the build up and training and stuff like that is just so much better because of him.
You do get kind of managers who have that milestone, or like they're like a staple point of football. I mean, you have like Wenger obviously revolutionised things, and a bit further down the line you have like Mourinho, and in more recent times Pep, and those managers, although other manager styles do catch up with them eventually, and you'll have to play against them. But those like first 2 seasons or first 3 seasons where they're untouchable. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a pleasure to watch, and I appreciate like the tactical nous and knowledge and level of education that the managers adhere themselves to make themselves the best and to change the way we think about football. But yeah, growing up, that Arsenal kit and that Arsenal team were brilliant. You
had a couple of honourable mentions now, which we're going to try and get up on screen. So the first one is a Fiorentina shirt. Now, I like any Fiorentina shirt, but remember from the 90s, I don't know how old exactly you are, but they used to have Nintendo on their shirt all the time. That's the one that I really want at the moment. But this is from, did you say 2007? I think it was?
I think it may be a little bit later.
Okay.
No, I think it might be a little bit later than this, but I think it might be 2008. Or maybe again even later, but again it's that dark purple and the gold trim. Reminds me a little bit of royalty, and it's just such a smart colorway and combination. Again, not even the design, but the two colors, that rich purple tone. Even when I'm playing pro clubs now, I'm always like, we're going Fiorentina or the kit that you're going to see after this. Don't know. It's just something that as I said in the previous kits with the Wolves kits, I like
Yeah.
I like that dark blue or purple, and
So
I just think it looks brilliant,
one of
especially
the
with the
most
emblem.
one of the most controversial kits that we've had discussed on this podcast was the Wolves away kit from 2013-14, the purple one. Lots of people saying that they really couldn't stand that. But what was your? I mean, if you're pro purple, pro dark blue, was it a favourite one of yours?
No, because I think that's too neon.
Mm,
I think the purple and the white as well doesn't work.
yeah.
It has to. If you're doing purple and you get it right, it's a match made in heaven. You need dark, deep purple tones, and you need a royal gold or a, a dull orange.
Nice, nice
But
one,
bright,
Gok.
but bright purple, and it was white, wasn't it? The Wolves one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the best.
Wasn't for me. We've had some dodgy kits in the past,
Oh
haven't we?
man. Right, and then this one you've just said about pro clubs. This is, I think, a FIFA kit of yours. Tell us the story behind this one, then.
Yeah, it's Yunnan Pumas or Club Universidad. I think they're from. I think they are from Mexico. But I mean, just look at the kit, Tom. Look at it. It's magical.
Would you like a Wolves kit with a wolf emblem like that on the front?
No, wouldn't be
Do you think it
Wolves,
would
but
work?
I don't think so. If it did, I think it might have. It might have to be a bit more subtle rather than in your face. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's again the dark blue or purple and that royal gold. It's beautiful. I mean, the club badge as well is superb. But looking at that, and it just reminds you of playing pro clubs years ago. I mean, even now it's either Fiorentina or Unam for me. But again, it's just a wonderful, wonderful kit, and I wish you'd see more teams in England, in particular Wolves, kind of taking the plunge and being a bit more creative with stuff like that. Because I think initially, if Wolves brought something out like that, it would be, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
But then you're like, is it though? And you warm to it. And if Wolves brought a kit out like that, you know that would be everyone's kit on FIFA Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
Just because it's different. Same with like when Napoli bring out camouflage kits. I do like them, but a lot of people are like, well, I mean, it'd be great for Doherty because he goes missing. But, I'm only joking.
We're in lockdown, man. Leave him alone.
I've been singing his praises, mate, since probably January.
Yeah.
He's made me eat some humble pie.
Yeah, good.
I am hungry.
Right then, the next part of the show, we have a look at some video clips. Now, this one, I think it's probably best if we don't talk over it now, and I'll leave the sound in because I think that's why you've chosen it. So we'll just leave it play, and then you can explain why it's a special clip to at the end. So there he is, Ruben Neves, free kick against Everton. A goal that I remember very, very well, very, very fondly. But tell us why you've chosen that clip then, Matt.
It's only a clip I've stumbled upon quite recently, in the past 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of vlogging, but I like seeing the perspective of a Wolves goal, not from the Wolves end, just to see how loud the Wolves fans are or how other away fans perceive the goal. I remember seeing the Derby goal where Neves flicks it up onto the wonder goal, and it's from the Derby end, and everyone goes, "Wait!" Because obviously you're shooting from there, you're not going to score. But Ruben's magic. So for me, listening to that from the Everton end, just the raw and the way they're placed, that the roof comes off when it hits the back of net, because it's Wolves' first goal back in the big time.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, even talking about it now, hairs standing up on the back of my neck. It's like, although we're 1-0 down, we're back, and
Yeah.
we're back and we're competing. Although Everton aren't the Everton that they used to be, they're still a top side. They've never been relegated, and it
yeah,
was
well,
just
in that game as
magic,
well,
yeah.
they just signed Ricarlison. It was the first game of the season. We didn't really know what to expect from the Premier League anyway. And, Wolves in the Premier League traditionally are struggling down the bottom of the table. Everton, a good challenge. And to come away from that game with a draw, it was a really good result, despite Everton not being as good as they have been.
Yeah, but Everton would have fancied themselves coming to an early promoted side.
Yeah.
But just the raw from the crowd, because it goes a little bit silent before the ball hits the net,
Yeah.
and it just takes off. And for me, that's what we're back, and we're not here to take any prisoners, and we're going to have a go at absolutely everyone. And that just kind of epitomises that bulldog-like nature that team has, just to get up and keep going. I mean, you've seen it against Man City this season. We're 2-0 down. We turned the game when it said 3-2 against the champions. There's arguments for the Jimenez goal against Man United in the FA Cup to be up there, but that one for me, from a different fan's perspective, and the noise and the roar, is just magical.
Yeah. The only other clip from an away fan that I really enjoy is the Leicester fan from the 4-3 game last year. Have you seen that?
True Fox, is it something like that? Yeah.
Something like that, when he's going 3-1 and you messed it up, etc. And then, damn, he says.
Yeah, because he was singing about Wes Morgan as well, and then the next video is him just like.
You love to see it. Any other particular memories from the last 2 years? Because I'll tell you what, Matt, you haven't seen it yet, but Ewan has done a podcast and he picked 2 clips for Wolves, and they were both of you at matches. There was one of you with your top off at Aston Villa away in the League Cup this season, and the other one was of you singing. I can't remember what the song was, but it was after Traore had scored at Man City away. Any other particular highlights?
Was my top off on that one as well?
I can't remember. I don't think it was, because I think I would have remembered.
I've got a tendency, not at home, because I sit in the North Bank, that'd be weird, but when we score away from home, the top always comes off, and it's becoming a bit of a trademark between like, obviously I go to the games with Dave away from home, and he just knows what's coming. He's getting a big hug and a big kiss off me, and the top's coming off, and it's going around. But in terms of moments from this year, I think the big one for me was going to Barcelona. We went to Braga, but again, that was kind of tainted a little bit by the foul treatment from the authorities out there. But going to Barcelona, which is one of my favourite cities anyway, I love going to Barca. It's a wonderful place. But to go there to watch my team play in one of my favourite cities in the sun, having a few beers. Me and Dave were going to do a vlog, but we got a bit leery before the game, and we couldn't do it. But although it was a kind of whistle-stop tour, it's just brilliant to go and see my club playing one of my favourite European cities. So for me, that's a memory that's going to live long with me. I've always said as a kid, my dream is to go and see Wolves play in Europe, whether that's Europa League or Champions League. And I'm 23, 24, coming soon, and it's one of my dreams come true.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, and I felt exactly the same when I went to Matt. Have I ever told you that I've been to Turin to watch Wolves?
You haven't, mate. You haven't.
Yes, that's one of the great football cities.
I think your story of going to Turin is the equivalent of me getting beat up in Braga by the police. I
had a really nice time in Turin.
Yeah, but it's something that we always both seem to mention when we're talking about Europe. Whoever can get in there first.
Right, and the second clip that you're going to show us is one that I'm really not very happy about, but I'm willing to discuss, because I think we both have it's 2 different sides of the same coin from this story. So it's England against Wales in the European Championships in 2016. You won't be able to hear the sound, Matt. So talk us through this game and why it was so special to you. You can talk over the video this time.
Talk over the video.
Yeah.
The game itself isn't so special. You might need to fast forward it a little bit, because
you just want story
about the other goals. It's just a story. Well, or the last couple of goals.
Okay, there we go. Oh, this is it. Innit? We'll go back from there. Look at them.
I think what was so special. I was in Lille at the time.
Mm.
About four of us, a mate from uni and his two other mates, Sam from Cannock. We were like, we have to go to the Euros. It's only in France. We're all England fans. I mean, I'm patriotic, but I'm not. I do go and watch England abroad, but it's not for me. It's always club over country, and there is the moment right there. I bet
Oh,
it's
the
heartbreaking to watch,
dangerous
isn't it? There's
Dave.
Dangerous Dave, and it was great. We drove down from Birmingham, drove to Lille. It was just a wonderful trip. Apart from when we got to Lille and we encountered our first roundabout in France. I was driving the other side of the road and we went around the roundabout on the wrong side and it was a near-death experience. Where life flashed before me. It was horrendous. But we were in the fan park for this game. We didn't get tickets, but the fan park was packed. 80% English, 20% Welsh, and at the time it was obviously a lot of the trouble with the Russian fans coming over and kicking off, and there was a real togetherness between Wales and England, even in the fan parks, until that goal went in. And
then,
for the 80% of the English fans, it was just sheer ecstasy and pandemonium. It was just, I can't explain it. Like, obviously watching it there with so many other like-minded, or most of them are like-minded, some of them are idiots, but like-minded England fans, you'd be hugging a Villa fan, you'd be hugging a Blues fan, because it's like we've just scored a late equal or a late winner in the Euros against, which is a neighbour, so to speak, in Wales, and to be there to witness that moment, all right, not at the game, but in the country that it was being taken place, like 20 miles away, in the sun, drinking beer in a different country with your mates on a road trip. It was just special, and it's something that I look back with great fondness. Yeah.
Well, I look back on that whole tournament with great fondness, probably more so than an England fan would look back on it. But that game in particular was heartbreaking because we had such low expectations going into that tournament. Like, you can't believe, like, England fans go into tournaments with low expectations, get to a quarter final, and then they're really annoyed then. Whereas we went and we wanted to score a goal. In the 3 group games, we just wanted to see Wales score. That was it. And we beat Slovakia in the first game, took the lead very fortunately against England through, again, Joe Hart just having scrambled the brain from just
Papadom wrists,
yeah. And then even with, I was over the moon with a point against England because they were the top seed of the group. You know, to get a point in that game was outstanding. There's a clip and a meme that keeps getting shown around, but it's out of context. It's a Wales fan crying their eyes out, right? You must have seen it. It's from that game. And everybody goes, oh, look at Wales crying about England beating them. That clip was while it was 1-1. That bloke was so amazed that Wales were able to hold England at 1-1 and already have 3 points in the bag. He couldn't control himself. And there was a lot of people like that in Wales at that time.
You did a lot better than England. I remember at the time it was pretty funny from the Wales fans, to be fair. Because like I said, there was loads of trouble with the Russians, and England and Wales were sticking together really in groups. Now, usually you probably wouldn't get that if the Russians weren't so balmy.
Yeah.
But the England fans and Wales fans were singing "F off Russia, we're England and Wales."
Oh.
And then when that Sturridge goal went in, it was "F off England, we're Russia and Wales." So, like, completely turned it on his head. But again, that's another thing that just I remember, and just being in hysterics, even though it was about us. It's like, you know what, fair play, that's quality.
But that's that whole tournament, because the only home nation we didn't have was Scotland. Everybody else was there, and they the island fans were always exemplary.
On fire, wasn't it? Was that tournament?
Northern Ireland, yeah. But to come back to that Sturridge goal for a second, I was watching it in a school in Treorchy because I think it kicked off about 2:00, something like that, or 1:30, something like that, lunchtime anyway. And we were all in various little classrooms watching it, and there was a classroom down the hall that was slightly ahead of ours, and loads of boys came running through and saying, "Oh, England have scored, England scored." I said, "Oh, yeah, okay, whatever." They're winding me up. Then it goes in, and I turned around, and obviously being in a room full of children, you can't say what you feel. And there's a bin there, and I thought I could really boot this bin across the room and really make a statement of how annoyed I am. But I just had to, it took all my willpower to just sit there quietly and
if Wales would have scored after that, I wouldn't have known. because I was literally just running around the fan park, just doing laps because the fan park was huge,
Yeah.
and it was just mental. I remember Dangerous Dave Edwards, for those who don't support Wolves. He was subbed off, or subbed on, and I was there in my Wolves shirt, just like clapping him, obviously playing for Wales, and I was like, "What's he doing?" So it's Dangerous Dave. I'm like, "You bloody weirdo!" But you got to support Wolves players in a tournament. But yeah, that was that was a great moment, and I look back with real fondness of it, because not only was England beating a rival and being together, but it was on a road trip with my mates, and I think those kind of trips are the ones you really do remember.
So
Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Did the road trip continue then much further after that game?
We did no, we just did. I think we did 4 or 5 days in Lille. It cost us next to nothing. We rented a cheap Airbnb, drove down, and we just kind of stayed around there and started mooched around the town, got pissed and stuff. But yeah, it was wicked, done on a really small budget. And again, we were packed into like a small Fiat Punto, and you know what? I'm quite a big bloke, and I was sat with like my knees under my armpits again. But it's that kind of thing that really makes it. I was meant to go to the Stone Roses once I'd returned in Manchester, but I was that lethargic and fatigued. I ended up selling my ticket, which is something I regret as well.
Man. But anyway, Lille, of course, was where Wales beat Belgium in the quarter-final of that tournament. But we don't want to go on about that, do we? Anyway, so let's move on to the final item that you've brought in to show us, and the story that goes with it.
It's a bit of a weird one. I didn't realise that I had this until I was cleaning the drawers out the other day, and it all came back to me. And if you can see it, it's a Wolves pen.
Yeah,
signed by Dave Jones.
Wow.
The old Wolves manager who got us promoted into the Premier League during the play. What year was the playoffs? You'll know this, Tom.
2003.
Yeah, it was the playoffs.
Sorry, hang on. Hang on. If you were winning all these Wolves quizzes and you don't know when the playoff final is, come on, Matt. Come on.
Just trying to involve the host, mate. That's
and
he was a manager at the time, and I think it must have been before we got promoted. But I was like not mascot for the day. I mean, I was only a young lad, but I went and met all the players before the game. It was a surprise for me on my birthday. I think it would have been against Leicester, last final game of the season.
That's right.
Yeah. Is that the season?
That is the promotion season. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was against Leicester, and I remember my mum and dad saying, "You're going to go and meet all the players," and I just shit myself because I was like, I'm petrified to go and meet them. These are professional football. I mean, I mustn't have been very old, probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
If it's 03, I would have been born in 96. So work that out for yourself. But I was like, I really don't want to do this. I was like, I want my brother to come. They're like, we've not paid for your brother, but thankfully, Wolves' lovely gesture. They said, look, he's really nervous. He wants his brother to come with him, and they let my brother come free of charge. And I met all the players. I finally got to meet Matt Murray, who became quite good, or I had a working relationship with my father, because my father was a goalkeeper coach as well. So growing up wanting to be like Matt Murray, actually ended up spending quite a lot of time with him.
No way.
I met Matt, I met Jolyon Lescott, and then Dave Jones took me into his office and he let me like sit in his chair and had a photo with it. And he went, "Yeah, you can have that." And he gave me this pen, and I don't know if it's like, it's fairly egotistical to have a pen with your name on it.
Well, I was just about to say, it's a bit of a weird thing, isn't it?
But he had them in his office. He's like, "Yeah, you can have that. It's got my name on it. It's signed." I got all the autographs from the players. I had a picture with Bully on the pitch, which I'll be able to show you if I get the picture over to Tom. But it was just it was just a really nice day, and like my nerves were calmed when I found out my brother could come with me, and I really enjoyed it. But again, it's a lovely gesture from the club, because I didn't have to do that. I ended up in hospital that day with tonsillitis. Okay. I wasn't very well.
If you didn't give it to any of the players,
I think I remembered the goalkeeper, Ian Walker. I think they subbed the keeper on.
That's right. Tim Flowers, it was that came on.
Tim Flowers, yeah. It was his last
Flowers.
Game,
it was his last game, and for it to be at Molineux as well, having started his career at Molineux, that's why he did it. Yeah.
Because I remember watching it, thinking,
bit odd.
obviously being a bit younger, what's going on here? My dad explained like the sentiment behind it and stuff.
Mm.
And yeah, it's a day like now just talking about it. I do remember, and I probably shouldn't, but yeah, Dave Jones gave me this pen. It's a lovely signed pen.
Mm.
But yeah, it's silly. I mean, it's a Parker pen. They can't be cheap.
Oh, nice. It's probably worth
Can't be cheap.
something
But
to
yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
means something to me anyway. So
Yeah,
that's all
that's
that
it.
matters.
Yeah, perfect. Right. Well, thank you very much for coming on then, Matt. It's been a pleasure to chat to you as always. I'll be soon. Well, I'm sure we'll speak to each other again soon on either a quiz or a video of some description.
I'd prefer it to be in person, if I'm honest with you, mate.
Well, not at the moment, but you know what I mean.
No,
But
you
yeah,
know what I mean.
check out Talking Wolves, obviously, on Facebook, and Matt Cooper as well on various different platforms as
Twitter,
well.
Instagram,
Twitter,
yeah.
yeah, M Cooper Writes. And M Cooper Bites. Is that going to take off as an independent venture?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough content to go with, as an individual Instagram profile. But I've always found cooking really therapeutic and rewarding, especially when it tastes nice at the end.
Mm.
And I put pictures of my food up on Instagram. We're like, "What's that?" Or "How do you make that?" And I was like, "Whilst I'm in lockdown, so you know what? But a few requests on what it is or how to make it. I'm just going to put a little video together and show people how to make it. And there's about 5 or 6 recipes on there. And the reaction I get is, although you can't see it because it's not a comment or anything, but the reaction I get is it's really nice. And I don't think it'd be its own account. It's just a bit of fun. And but yeah, I just really enjoy cooking and more so eating.
Very good. Right. Well, check out Matt on everything, and don't forget as well to subscribe to this YouTube channel, The Old Gold and Black, as well as checking the podcast out on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, anywhere that you get your podcast is probably going to be there. But in the meantime, I'll be seeing you in a couple of days' time for another one of these, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.